Well guys, welcome back to the Quick Speed Shop. Here I am. Today I'm working on my 1995 Ford F250 old body style, and I think I got a bad wheel bearing in my right front wheel here because it's really got a whirling noise in it. So I just want to jack it up to take a look. I just noticed my tire is cupping pretty bad here. See the tread is up and down and up and down. It's got a cup to it, which means the tire is doing this when it's going down the road, and I can feel it, especially when I'm going into real slow speed. I can feel it riding rough. So usually what causes a cup is like a suspension problem, like a bad shock or a bent wheel or a wheel that's out of balance. You can see these are balanced here. So the first thing I wanted to look for is a suspension problem, like a bad shock. Now this shock is oily looking, but it's not oil, it's actually fluid film. And so I'm going to do a bounce test on the front end here of the truck and see. But the truck seems stable, it doesn't continue to bounce, so I'm going to say the shock is good, but I can hear what I think is a loose bearing. So we're going to jack it up, pull the wheel off. This is noticeable in the steering wheel, so I'm probably going to rotate the tires and put that on the back. These tires are going to be worn out after this winter anyways, but I'll put the cupping tire on the back so it won't be as violent in the steering wheel. But there's something, maybe it's the wheel bearing. The wheel is loose when it's driving. It doesn't seem real loose, but maybe that's part of the problem. But I let it go too long, and now I've got a bad tire. Maybe the tire caused the wheel bearing to go bad. So let's get the wheel off, take a look and see if we see anything. All right, guys, this is why we do discovery and inspections before we go and take things apart and order parts, which I didn't do. So now that the tire is off, I can go ahead and show you just how bad the cupping is here by looking at it. You can see how tall that block of tread is and how low this is versus that. That's really got bad cupping. It's almost a quarter of an inch, and I can just roll it on the ground. I can feel it. You might be able to hear it. I can't hear it, but it is making the tire thump up and down. See, it's flopping all back and forth because it's pushing itself up and down on these treads, versus the rear tire, which is worn completely symmetrical. So I think I might have identified what caused that. You know, suspension related to cause the tire to do that. And we bounce tested it, but I didn't see anything wrong. And I spin the rotor. All I hear is the drag of this. I spun it with a tire. I didn't hear any bearing noise at all. But that tire would mimic a bearing noise. Well, look at the lower shock mount here. See this? Oh. See that? Got a bad shock bushing there. And what that'll do is that, you know, low bumps, it'll allow the wheel to go like that and just dribble in that bushing, and it cup that tire, ruin that tire. That's what happened. I got a bad shock bushing there. So I'm gonna guess the shock is good because we bounce tested it, but the bushing is failed. Let me go ahead and unbolt that shock. I'll pull it out. We'll take a look, and maybe like no local Napa or something might have shocks in stock. I wonder if the other side is the same way. The other tire is nice and smooth, but this side, for whatever reason, the bushing has failed. Now I can already feel there's tension on the shock, so the shock is not bad, just that bushing went bad. That's unfortunate. All right. Now, here's the bottom of our shock. I mean, the bushing doesn't look bad, but you saw the play in it. Besides that bushing being sloppy, I don't see any evidence of oil leaking out of it, and it has a good rebound and compression. All right, upon closer inspection, I've determined I think the bolt is worn out. It's severely worn down in the center here where the shock would be. All the threads are worn away. So in that bushing, I think it was some of the play. I mean, there's a little bit of play in the rubber, But I looked at my records. I just put these shocks on here last year, so they've only got less than 10,000 miles on them. I used the bar on the other side, and I can move the bushing up and down a little bit, but not like this side. And I've already replaced that bolt with a 1/2-inch bolt. So apparently that bolt was worn out, and I'm going to say that this one probably is worn out as well. It touches the this bracket here, but in the center it's all worn down. So what I did is I went and I drilled out the bushing in the shock to accept a 1/2-inch grade 8 bolt, which fits through here. So I'm just going to put this back out. Does it fit through the back? It will if it threads in there. So this will tighten it right up with a brand new bolt. Yeah, because they are still extremely stiff. So it's obvious that the shock is not bad. And the bushing, when I was looking at the bushing, the rubber is pliable, but it's not like it's worn away or cracked or anything like that. So it could have just been a tire issue, could have got out of balance, and just with a combination of things, it just wore itself out. Just needed to use some pry bars to hold the bolt up enough to get it through the hole because it's so tight. And I've got a 1/2-inch nylock nut to go on the back of it. That's a lug nut. Got a 1/2-inch nylock nut to go on the back of it. If I had the right wrench. Now I'm just curious to see. Oh yeah. I can't see if you can see in there. We had all that slop before. Now it's hardly got any slop in the bottom. That's probably what it was, is that bolt was worn out. Darn it, that really irks me because that ruined that tire. Well, now that I've fixed that, what am I going to do about this tire that's completely ruined? It's going to be good enough for a spare, but it is severely cupped and it's going to continue to thump. If I put it on the rear, it probably won't get any better. It'll probably just keep doing what it's doing, just thump on the rear. My rear tires are smooth, like I said. I can put them on the front. But over here on this truck, I just happen to have two brand new front tires. This truck's going to sit all winter in storage. I had to buy these. I had a blowout actually on that truck 2 years ago, and I had to buy 2 tires on the road. So I bought these because all my trucks run the same size tire. And I put them on the front of this truck, and they have like 200 or 300 miles on them, if that. I'm going to take these tires, which are the same size, and put them on the front of that truck for winter. I'm going to look at my tread and see which ones are the best. This one's just a tiny bit scalloped from being on the turning side, but this one's got pretty decent tread. I'll probably put that on the back because I want to say that the back tires are worn down. Yeah, they're worn down a little bit more, but they're even. This truck's gonna need tires in the spring anyways. So what I think I'll do is I'll take the front tires off of that truck, put 2 good front tires on the front of my truck for winter because that's important to have traction in the winter. I'll put the other ones on the front of this truck. It's not gonna get driven anymore this year. And then in the spring, I'll get two new rear tires for this truck, and then get 2 front tires for that truck, or maybe I'll get a set of 4 for this and I'll just put all the used ones on the blue truck, because the blue truck doesn't really get driven that much. So that's going to save me $400 in tires right now. I'm a little tight on money. It's Christmas time, so I'm going to save money by just swapping tires around from different vehicles. That's one bonus to owning like multiples of every vehicle. If something breaks, you can just rob parts off the other one and keep going. It doesn't cost you any money until you got to fix the second one, but then you can play a magical game of cards and just move it around. So it's like a game of shuffleboard. Just shuffle the pieces on the deck, move the chairs on the Titanic. You're still going down, but at least you can pretend you're having fun. So you never know what you're going to find doing these little repairs. The thing's been making noise for a while. I wish I'd figured out what it was earlier. I just ran out of time, and unfortunately it cost me a tire. Lesson learned. If you hear noises, don't let them go forever because they only get worse. They don't fix themselves. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bam, here, fixing junk at the Quick Speed Shop.